top 5 players we're excited to see entering this college basketball season. So top 5, it could be returning, it could be freshmen.
I would start off with I had Gonzaga on the mind. Chet Holmgren, the freshman. I wanna see. He seems like a pretty uniquely skilled player. He's real tall. He seems like he can handle the ball and shoot. He's going to go to the Zags, where they obviously have a lot of returning talent from a team that just was the runner-up in the country. And he's almost perfect. And he's going to be playing with a true center as well. Yeah. So they're going to be playing with a lot of big lineups, but it could work because of Holmgren's, like I said, his unique skill set. So I'm really curious, like, how he's going to look just individually, but also how that fits into like what the Zags do.
My number 5 player is Emoni Bates, the freshman from Memphis. He's been high on my radar for probably the last year and a half, all throughout the pandemic. I remember when he committed to Michigan State. He decommitted back in April, and then he went to Memphis under the tutelage under Penny Hardaway. Looking forward to see him. I mean, there's a lot of hype surrounding Emoni Bates. Only had 12 points in his most recent exhibition, but I mean, he's been on my radar for like 2 years, plus the story with the Memphis, Michigan State decommit, and then, of course, he's coached by Penny Hardaway, so a lot of hype for Emoni Bates. He's my number 5.
Yeah, Emoni and Chet Holmgren had an epic showdown last year in high school.
Yes, they did.
That I remember watching and enjoying a lot. So, they don't really necessarily play the same positions, but obviously we're kind of the top recruits in the country, exactly. Kind of going against each other there. So, for sure. I'm curious to see how that Memphis team gels together.
Right. With Jalen Duren as well, the big man from Memphis, out there for the Tigers. Collin Gillespie out of Villanova, coming back from injury, man. So, I mean, I see your eyes perked up. What's your thoughts on Collin Gillespie? Is he on your list, or who's your number 4?
Not on my list, but I'm really curious to see what he does. Villanova ended up playing decent without him in the tournament. They kind of hung in there, but he's the engine that makes that team go. So I would have really loved to see him in the tournament last year with the rest of the team the way they were playing, because they were just so clearly missing the point guard, the leader, that guy.
Yeah. That floor general.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, credit to that Villanova program and Jay Wright. Like it's so well coached and kind of such a well-oiled machine now that even losing a player like that, which would cripple most any other team, they still were able to go out there and compete at a pretty high level in the tournament. But no, I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do. I told you mid-majors. I love mid-majors. Max Abmas, Oral Roberts. Was he fun to watch in the tournament last year. I had my ESPN Plus account going during conference tournament time last year. And I watched the Summit League semifinals and finals, and Oral Roberts played like 2 of the most fun games I'd ever seen, or not ever seen. I had seen all season long last year. They were really fun. It was like 90-89 in the semifinals and whatever. It was fast paced. They shot like crazy from 3-point range all season long, but then in the tournament as well. Abmas was one of the leading scorers in the country. Turns out Kevin O'Banner he played unbelievable. And he's actually a transfer. Unfortunately for Oral Roberts, he went to Texas Tech. So that's a big transfer over to the Big 12. Anyways, no, Max Abmas, I mean, he comes back for another year, which I thought he might try to go pro, and he put his name in, but took it out. So I'm curious to see him play again this year. I mean, that team was so fun to watch, and he's a really, really fun player to watch. It was so close to getting them another, on that buzzer beater that they lost on in the tournament. But Sweet 16 run for a team like Oral Roberts was unbelievable, and he's obviously the top player on that team. So I want to see what he can do now that he has a little bit of attention on him.
Banchero.
Okay, Banchero. I was a little unsure there, but we touched on him already. But obviously, like, there's a freshman with sky high potential that could be the number one pick in the next draft. I want to see, is he the next, great center that can dominate college basketball? But I said earlier, I'm curious to see what he can do, but that's certainly a guy I'm looking forward to watching this season.
Paolo Banchero looking to be the star in Duke's final season, along with Mark Williams, and also off the bench, Bates Jones was stretching out, shooting some threes the other night for Duke. Formerly of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, he's now a Texas Longhorn. Marcus Carr, he's going to be there, be in Austin with Chris Beard. I think he'll be huge for the Longhorns. Adds more scoring alongside Andrew Jones and Courtney Ramey. Also a few transfers to that Texas team, who I think, honestly, might be the favorite to win the Big 12. And also, they might be in the Final Four. They're one of the teams I'm really high on this year. So Marcus Carr, I think he has huge star potential headed down to Austin, Texas with Chris Beard and the Longhorns.
I like that. Texas is a real interesting case because new coach who goes from, but we know he's a great coach, but he stays in conference.
Right. He goes from Austin. He goes from Lubbock to Austin. He stays in state, stays in conference.
Yeah. I mean, so there's that. He's got a lot of transfers. You mentioned, obviously, Carr is probably the biggest name of all those. They have a few returning guys. Texas is a real interesting case because there's obviously a lot of talent there and a great coach. But how's it all going to gel together? That remains to be seen.
Johnny Juzang out of UCLA. Amazing NCAA tournament run. So Johnny Juzang is my number 2.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that. That was one of my names that I wanted to get to because that UCLA team, it was weird because in college basketball history, UCLA has never been an underdog.
They
were like the team everyone hated for a long time, and then all of a sudden they had underdog feeling last year to them, and they just had this right formula. They got along with not a lot of size, but they had a lot of really good guards who could all get buckets, and they were playing well together, shot well from the outside, and Johnny Juzang was really the leader of those guards.
And also returning a lot of those guys, not just Juzang, also bringing back Tiger Campbell as well. And now, our number 1 player we're most excited for. Well, you already gave mine away. Mine was Chet Holmgren. I want to see what he can do with Gonzaga, a team that just so close to winning the national championship, so close to being perfect. They add a freshman talent in Chet Holmgren to replace a lot of guards they lost in Yayi and Suggs and Kispert. So maybe now having one of the top recruits in the country can finally push this team led by Mark Few, finally push them over the hump and give them a national championship, man. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride, but maybe with Holmgren, they'll finally get that national championship. So for you, who is your number 1 player you're most excited to see this season, Ryan?
Yeah, man. I think Emoni Bates was right up there for, like I said, I didn't have a 1 through 5. These guys are all I'm really excited about, and a lot of times it ends up being the freshmen that we're really excited about because we don't know where that potential is going to be or how good they are going to be. So it's almost easier to pick those guys than maybe the returning guys. I mean, we didn't mention like Drew Timme or Kofi Coburn or some of those guys who are going to be great, but we already know what they are. We're excited about some of these new ones, which I totally get. And we talked about Bates and Memphis. This is a big year for Penny Hardaway to prove that he can coach at this high level and compete with the big boys, of college basketball.
Definitely going to be excited to see what happens this season. I'm definitely excited to see all the players we mentioned